Well, welcome back to another Cobra Kai prediction video. Last time I did one of these, we were going from Season 2 to Season 3, and not to brag, I nailed a lot of it. Feel free to go back and look for yourself. So this morning I was feeling a little extra rambly and figured I would turn on the mic and give you my predictions for Cobra Kai Season 6. Now, as we all know, this is going to be the final season. So if there's any loose ends to tie up, that's where you want to start when it comes to predictions. But why didn't I keep covering Cobra Kai after Season 2? I mean, there's been 3, 4, and 5. And none of them were really bad. If you like Cobra Kai, you're going to like all of those seasons. But after Season 2, and when it went to Netflix, it got a little Disney afternoon for me. Not so Disney afternoon I couldn't watch it, just Disney afternoon enough to where I was like, I'm gonna let other people cover it. And I'm not ragging on it. There's just so many loose ends to tie up from Karate Kid. For that show to completely focus on the adults like it did in Season 1, there would have had to be 8 more Karate Kid movies. They just can't keep that rivalry going forever between Daniel and Johnny. And to keep the series going, they had to get more into the kids' drama and the students and the Cobra Kais versus the Miyagi-Dos and the Eagle Fangs. And hey, like I said, I don't dislike the show. I just wasn't passionate enough about it anymore to make a bunch of videos. But it is a good show, and it's a show I still watch and still enjoy. So let's go into what I think is going to happen in Cobra Kai Season 6. And like I said, I think the best way to do this is to discuss the loose ends that need to be tied up. That will give us a good, rough picture of what we're looking at. I guess the easiest thing to predict is going to be their entry in the Sekai Tekai tournament. If I mispronounced that, sorry, I didn't watch Season 5 again before doing this video. Called a testament to my memory of the season. Now that's not a big deal for Eagle Fang Miyagi-Do other than trying to figure out a name and possibly having some new students thanks to Kenny and Kyler and a bunch of the other Cobra Kais walking out. Cobra Kai, on the other hand, still has an official invitation. Terry Silver's in jail. John Kreese is on the run, and Johnny Lawrence wants nothing to do with Cobra Kai. So who is left to bring Cobra Kai to this world tournament in their absence? Well, of course it's going to be this nice lady. And I think she's going to bring a new bumper crop of students from Korea. And that's how they're going to increase the stakes for this season. Another big loose end is going to be Robbie and Miguel. Whether or not they're more or less on good terms right now, there still is a score to settle from Season 2. And I really think what it's going to come down to is Miguel in the junior finals. And he's going to have to do it this year, and it has to end because Zolo can't play a kid any longer. I really think what's going to happen is in the semis, it's going to come down to Robbie versus Miguel. And you might be thinking, well, they're from the same dojo, they can't face off. Hey, that happened in the other tournaments too. Remember Robbie versus Kenny? It happened in the first All Valley tournament in Karate Kid. It just depends on who makes it to the finals. So I think we're going to get our Robbie Miguel face-off with no bad blood, both of them at their best, shaking hands before they go into it. Because that was something I kind of did like about the last tournament. When Miguel and Hawk faced off, is Hawk was like, finally a worthy opponent, and they didn't have any bad blood between them. That was an interesting fight to me. They were both just doing their best to honor each other at their best. And that'll be interesting to see between Robbie and Miguel, who will come out on top. Now, if I was writing it, who would I have come out on top of that? Miguel, 100%. He hasn't had a W in a long time. He's a fan favorite, a champion. He earned it. He went through that whole redemption arc where he had to fix his back and everything and then fix his confidence, go to Mexico. He is owed a win. Robbie, on the other hand, he's kind of in the Vegeta spot. He needs to learn that he can't be the best all the time. He has to be comfortable with the fact that Miguel won this one, and he won it fair and square. Now, John Kreese escaping from prison, that is a pretty big loose end, and that is not as predictable as you might think. Obviously, he won't be able to just openly walk around. So what's he going to do? Contact Tori in the shadows? He kind of had a little falling out with Tori. Even though I've always liked the connection between those two because she had the hard life, he had a hard life, he respected her more than anybody else. He went out of his way to help Tori. I think it's likely he'll contact Tori, probably get a little bit of pushback. Probably will not like the fact that she's with Miyagi-Do Eagle Fang at this point. Or maybe he'll train her in the shadows, and she'll get the training from both of them, and that's how she'll persevere at the tournament. But I don't think John Kreese is going to rear his head until they are off American soil. He might pop up at the tournament when they can't do anything about it. But as far as in America, I think he's going to be living like a homeless person. I think he's going to be living like a fugitive. He's going to have to fall back on his training, how to survive, how to stay hidden. But what's his real motivation? It's not like A-Team. You busted out of prison. You're going to have to go back if they catch you. Even if you prove that Terry Silver set you up and now he's been convicted and you have the proof of all that, you still don't get to assault a doctor and then make a prison break. You're going to go back to prison if you get caught. And that's going to be what happens to John Kreese. One thing or another. He's going to die or he's going to go to prison. If he dies, it will be, I think it'll be a heroic redemption arc. I don't think it's going to be like Daniel killing him. I think something dirty might happen in Korea and John Kreese jumps in, maybe saves Tori from his old school, maybe that new female Korean sensei. That would be pretty cool because we know the connection between John Kreese and that little girl. He kind of kept an eye out for her back when he was training in Korea, if you remember that scene. That would be the John Kreese redemption arc, to me. If either her or another one of these Korean Cobra Kais was about to straight up take Tori's life. Maybe not in the ring. Maybe outside of the ring something happens. But John Kreese has to step in. He gets jumped. Maybe he defeats them and he just doesn't have any strength left, something. That's how I would see a good John Kreese death. I mean, don't just let him die evil. They spent so many seasons building up that John Kreese wasn't just necessarily evil. He's misguided. He was trained by a hardened soldier in a war. Life was always hard for him. He doesn't understand just letting things go. In his world, if you let things go, you die. It just seems like a whole lot of setup for his motivations and seeing what he went through as a kid. Just building him up to not be a super evil villain and then just healing him out. I don't think that's going to happen. Terry Silver, I think, is out. I think you've done everything you can do with Terry Silver. He's guilty of attempted murder. I mean, he's rich, but you can't just carve up a Japanese tourist in your backyard and get away with it. And that might be the justice dynamic for Terry Silver. He is now where John Kreese was. That's what I would do if I was writing it. I would put him in the same detention center as John Kreese. And none of them have any respect for Terry Silver because John Kreese was sensei. Then again, though, Terry Silver was no bitch, so he might earn that respect in the block. Or end up in Club Fed. I mean, he was a millionaire. Alright, now Tori and Sam. I have heard a couple of the other predictions on this, and I'm going to have to go against what other people say. Tori's going to lose. Sam is going to be the one they're going to give the big win to as far as the female competitions go. And I respect the thought process behind why people think Tori's going to get a win, because she needs to get that legitimate win. But I disagree. She doesn't necessarily need a legitimate win against Sam LaRusso anymore. Win or lose, I think Tori will be happy just knowing there was no cheating going on. She found out what she was worth. She'll have the confidence at this point to where even if she loses a karate match, she knows who she is. She's not such an insecure little girl that a karate trophy is going to shatter her world anymore. Win or lose, she's going to win it or lose it fair and square. I think that's going to be the Tori redemption. That's going to be where she goes with it. And with that being said, Sam LaRusso, she's going to end up winning something in the tournament. She's a LaRusso. She's been there since the beginning. And I think the writers know the fans aren't big fans of Sam. Nobody I know is a Sam LaRusso fan. Sam LaRusso is in the same bucket with Amanda LaRusso in this show. We tolerate her. We do not love her. And that's not to say that Mary Mauser is a bad person. She's a great actress. It's the character. If anything, it's a character problem, and Mary Mauser is playing the character the way the character is supposed to be played. I think Mary Mauser is lovely. I am not crapping on the actress. And as long as we're discussing the LaRussos, let's tie up the rest of the family too. Not literally. We'll start with Anthony. The fat kid who turned totally skinny. Went kind of Anthony Soprano with that one. He's really only got two big problems to clear up for his character. One, he's got to end this rivalry with Kenny, which I think will happen naturally because Kenny will be training with them now. We've seen this with Hawk and Robbie. We've seen it with a lot of the Cobra Kais when they come over. They all have a past, and they have to let it go. They might fight once, but I think they'll wrap that up pretty easy. The second and bigger problem for Anthony's character is him getting a little confidence being on this team. Remember, he's not the strongest martial artist. He's the biggest coward in the group. That's why it's funny, because he's Daniel's son, but he's the biggest marshmallow there. And once he can appreciate karate and he's got that confidence, that gets him and Daniel closer. That's the end of the him and Daniel split arc, because his son hates karate and he wants his son to be a karate guy. So how do we facilitate that? Very easily. Kenny, who has become an expert fighter, is going to be the one to help train and get Anthony LaRusso ready for the tournament. Kenny is going to be the one that kind of coaches Anthony LaRusso to have that confidence, and I think he'll win a match or two in the tournament, but he is not going to make it to the finals. No way. As far as Amanda LaRusso and Daniel go, as long as all this Cobra Kai crap is over, Amanda is cool. Amanda is just happy to be in Season 6, where all this fighting is taking place overseas in one tournament. I don't even think she'll go there for it, to be honest. Maybe she will. Her daughter's fighting in it. Her son's in it. Maybe she will. But nonetheless, that's going to be the ending for Amanda. Tori and Sam are no longer at each other's throats. That trauma is gone. Silver's out of the picture, and as soon as Kreese is dead, Amanda really has no more beef in the series. Once the tournament's over, their lives can go back to normal. She can go back to selling cars. All right, and that's going to lead us now to Johnny Lawrence. And by extension, Robbie, Carmen, Miguel, and that whole situation. Not to mention the new baby. Well, first, it's cool that Johnny and his ex are on good terms now, because now there's no more power struggle about who's going to parent Robbie, where Robbie's going to stay. Robbie's going to be staying with his dad. His mom's in rehab. She's doing okay. She's no longer a heel character, but I think we'll see her maybe once or twice. I think Johnny and Carmen are going to get married, and we will have a whole episode where Johnny has to decide who's going to be his best man, Miguel or Robbie. At least that's what I would write it. If I was a screenwriter and I just had to kill an episode on something like that, I would definitely throw that struggle in there. Now, whether or not they're going to fight for the honor, and that will be their fight, who knows? But there will be a reckoning between those two. I think it'll happen at the tournament, though. And not to mention, when Carmen has the baby, that's going to be both Robbie and Miguel's new little brother. So that also could be the thing to pull them all together. In fact, in retrospect, I really think that's going to be the episode. She has the baby. Both the kids are in there. They see that now this one kid is blood. Now, then they start talking about how when he grows up, he's going to start learning how to fight. Yeah, I can see it all happening right now. That's exactly how it's going to go down. And as far as the series-long arc for Johnny Lawrence, that's coming to its natural conclusion. He's gone from being the hermit ex-karate guy who never really made anything of himself, doing odd jobs, to, I think him and Daniel will open a dojo, and that will become his income, and how he takes care of his family. A family he has now that he's mature and old enough to appreciate. And I don't know, if you want to put a really nice red bow on that, kill off his stepdad and have his stepdad leave him all the money. So now Johnny Lawrence is just rich. On top of the world, Johnny. I like that. They probably won't do that, but I like that. As far as Hawk goes, Hawk has always been one of my favorite characters, but I'm gonna be honest, I don't see big things for him in Season 6. I just don't see a whole lot of arc to nail down for him. He got his big win in Season 4. Season 5 was kind of downhill for him. I could see him doing okay in the tournament, but he's gonna get to the semifinals, he's gonna lose. He's gonna be the Dutch. He'll get right there, but then he's gonna lose. I mean, yeah, we all want to see Hawk get a win, but there's just too many of them out here. And now we get to the bigger question I have about the tournament itself. This is a world tournament. And it was a tournament that John Kreese and Terry Silver were trying to get involved in after they got out of the military. That indicates there may be an adult division. And that's what I think we've all been waiting for a very long time, is to put the old good guys and bad guys against one another. More videos have been made for movies that involve fighting on who would actually beat who if for the guys who never got to fight one another. It's time to put them all back in the ring together. I want Mike Barnes there. I want Chosen there. I want Daniel there. Johnny there. Julie Pierce is not invited. But if you want to get Michael Ironside in on it, frankly, I'll watch anything that Michael Ironside's in. Not gonna lie. So it'll be fine. I don't even know how you would make something like that work. So they may avoid it entirely. But I think it's something that would be cool. It's something we would all like to see. And whatever you do, no Jaden Smith cameo. I don't care if it's a world tournament and he's leading a kung fu school and he brought all these kung fu kids to come fight. No Jaden Smith cameo. It ruins the whole thing. There's two sides of Karate Kid. There's the 1980s Karate Kid, and then there's the kung fu kid that Will Smith got made as a birthday present to his son. Leave Jaden Smith and Jackie Chan out of this. The family got producer credits. Leave it at that. The only other thing I can think that I would write into the tournament and an adult side to the tournament would be the John Kreese reveal. That he had gone back to Cobra Kai. Or seemingly gone back to Cobra Kai unless like they mess with Tori and then he ends up getting killed. Remember, this isn't on American soil where he's a fugitive. And he was out of the picture before the Koreans showed up. So really, as far as they know, Kreese is cool. He just came back to help the dojo here in their time of need. And now, last but not least, my man Chosen. The shadow from Final Fantasy VI of the group. He's got his own little side story, disappears, comes back whenever he wants. I think Chosen will be around to help train them, and I think that we'll see Kumiko at the tournament. She'll come to... They have to close that little gap. He's got to get with Kumiko in the end. That's a big loose end they need to tie up. Oh, and speaking of the Okinawan cast, who was your only Cobra Kai video creator who predicted the little girl that Daniel saved from the bell tower in Karate Kid 2 coming back? This guy right here. So don't discount my theories. I was right before. And I think that's how it's going to end. Everybody's happy. Johnny's married. Daniel's got his business and his peaceful karate school. Miguel and Robbie are family now, and they've got this new little brother that puts it all in perspective for him. Sam and Tori looking out for one another. Chosen going back to Okinawa to go be with Kumiko. If Mike Barnes is involved, there's got to be a financial level to Mike Barnes because he lost everything in the last season. But more than likely, and the way the writers of Cobra Kai like to end things, they'll just make him whole somehow. And that will be Cobra Kai Season 6, the way I see it. We won't know until it comes out, but I think these are some good ideas. And like I said, I've got a little bit of a knack of predicting how the writers of this show are going to move on to the next season. I was mildly right when it came to the later seasons. Nailed a lot of things spot on for Season 3, but we had 2 years to think about that. So only time will tell. But if you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe. And if you have any of your own theories, please throw them in the comments below, and I'd love to discuss them with you. Later!